When I was a seminarian in Toronto in the good days when we had good music, at least music that I could understand, I hit the jackpot because there was great groups touring through Toronto, and my buddy Jeff and I were able to, that's a long story, but we were able to get tickets to every single show, but nothing equaled, not even the Who's last concert, equaled the U2 Joshua Tree tour. It was an amazing kind of experience. There was a ritual at the end of U2 concerts back then that one by one the band would leave as the final song, the chorus of which is, "How long must we sing this song? How long to sing this song?" Which interestingly comes from Psalm 138, because they're Christians, eh? Everyone except the bassist, I think he's a bit of a pagan. But the rest of them are good Christians, and they sing, that comes from Psalm 138. There we, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat and wept, remembering thee, O Zion. On our lips there were songs, and our captors said, "Oh Lord, sing one of the songs of Zion." And we said, "How long must we sing this song?" And as they left one by one till only Bono was on the stage, the whole crowd is singing this song. And then the lights go up, and we all kept on singing. And the doors of Maple Leaf Gardens open, we just went out onto the street and up Yonge Street, 12,000 of us singing, "How long must we sing this song?" That's the mystery of this heartbeat. That's what happens here. The doors are about to open. And the doors open as we go on a parade with the Blessed Sacrament, a procession, to remind us that that's what happens every time we gather. In fact, that is what it means to be a Christian. Simply to be those people who listen to Jesus say, "Come and sit down into a small group." And so we gather. And then he gives us not ideas, not just teachings. You can get that anywhere else, and there's lots of ideas and teachers around. But no one gives us his body and blood, so that we become what we receive. And becoming what we receive means that the song that is his song is always singing in us. We receive Jesus' presence, not an idea, but really his presence. It doesn't matter whether we believe it or not. We live in a world in which whether something is true is dependent upon whether we believe it. That's not the way it is. We're out of contact with our body, with our community. We think we create everything. Thanks be to God, I didn't make myself in my mother's womb, because I would have had no imagination in that. Mind you, God did perfection there. But the thing is, we're given this wonderful gift of our bodies, flowing with the blood life. That's real. And that's how Jesus feeds us. The disciples had a worldly thought. 5,000 people, what am I going to do with them? What are we going to do with them? 5 loaves, 2 fish, isn't going to work. We don't have enough money. Jesus is another way. His way that St. Paul tells us he received. Because even before one bit of preaching that was done by Paul, one little bit of the New Testament was written, Christians have done one and the same thing. And you cannot be a fully alive Christian if you do not do it. And that is to come and receive Jesus feeding us with his body and blood. That's our heartbeat. My little sisters and brothers, Jesus has gathered you for the first time to receive his body and blood, so that your blood will flow with Jesus' blood, the Holy Spirit poured into you. And your bodies will become his body, living and loving in the world. What you receive is who you are. And the parade, the procession that we celebrate today, fills us with the taste of what it means to be a Christian. Gathering, sitting, hearing the teaching, and then miracle beyond all miracles, Jesus himself gives us himself as food and drink for the life of the world. And we go singing the song. For how long must we sing this song in a foreign land? Till that great and wonderful day of eternity. And yet, if Jesus dwells within us, there is no foreign land. There is no strange place to sing the song. For our hearts are already filled with Jesus, who is heaven. And so I pray for you, hoping that you every day experience the glory of this day. Remember, we listened to Saint Therese talk about her first communion. Let's listen again. At last there dawned the most beautiful day of all the days of my life. All the days of my life. How perfectly I remember even the smallest details of those sacred hours. The joyful awakening, the reverent and tender embraces of my ministers and older companions, the rooms filled with snow-white frocks, just as you're wearing, where each child was dressed in turn, and above our entrance into the chapel, and the melody of the morning hymn, O altar of God, where angels are hovering. But I would not and could not tell you all. Some things lose their fragrance when exposed to air. How sweet was that first embrace of Jesus. It was indeed an embrace of love. I felt that I was loved, and I said, I love thee, and I give myself to thee forever. Let us say together that prayer. I love thee, and I give myself to thee forever. Again we say to Jesus, I love thee, and I give myself to thee forever.